Hi everybody, Linda here. Today I wanted to talk to you about the protection that is available to us through St. Michael the Archangel. Now, first I wanted to share with you that I don't think it's any small coincidence that the inspiration to produce this little teaching came to me on Monday, which is the day of the week that the blue flame of God, which is the will of God and God's protection flame, the qualities of that flame are amplified. So I thought that was very interesting. And the other thing I wanted to share with you is that this inspiration came to me while I was doing something mindless. So for anyone who's seeing this video that doesn't understand that reference, please see our video posted on our YouTube channel that's called "And I Bet You Don't Even Realize You're Doing It." Meditation comes in many forms. So back to today's topic, I wanted again to speak to you about the protection that is available to us through the universe, through the heart of Archangel Michael. And a lot of us are already familiar with Archangel Michael through our Bible studies or through our catechism. And archangels are non-denominational, so they will answer the call, whether you are Muslim, Jew, Christian, Taoist, let's see, what other faiths am I missing? Hindu, Buddha. It's really great to know that the cosmic hierarchy is totally agnostic when answering our calls. So the one thing I can't stress enough is that, as again, we're also familiar with through our catechism and Bible study, is that Earth is the plane of matter. It is the plane of free will. And for that reason, we have to invite the members of the cosmic hierarchy into the plane of matter at least once in a 24-hour cycle in order for them to be present. God and his armies of light do not interfere with our free will. So if we want them here to intercede on our behalf, they have to be invited in. So when we invoke protection, what exactly does that mean? That means that we're calling forth Archangel Michael and his armies of light to intercede and intervene wherever cosmic law allows at our call, whether it be a specific or an overarching request. They will come to our aid for our protection against danger, against sickness, against fear. They will take command of any situation as long as we invoke them. And there are a lot of ways to offer our devotion and to invite Archangel Michael into our world. I personally spend about 20 minutes a day or so with very, very specific prayers and calls to Archangel Michael. But I also know that if I don't do that, he is available with his armies of light to respond to the call at a moment's notice. So for those of you who aren't familiar with how to invoke the might, the strength, and the assistance of Archangel Michael, there are a couple of very quick ways that you can do this. A very, very basic prayer that you can offer every single day. Very simple, and if you focus, you will feel that presence descend into your world, and it's very simple. Archangel Michael, protect me. Archangel Michael, seal me. Archangel Michael, stand where I am. Archangel Michael, protect me. Archangel Michael, seal me. Archangel Michael, stand where I am. Archangel Michael, protect me. Archangel Michael, seal me. Archangel Michael, stand where I am. See how simple that is? And the light of the Archangel Michael and his legions of blue lightning angels are now anchored in your world. So let's take that to even a more urgent situation. And I've used this myself, as have others that I have known. And the response, it is just so awe-inspiring and amazing because the response is instantaneous. So let's say that you are in a situation where you need the assistance of Archangel Michael instantaneously, and you don't have time to think about what's unfolding. You just see something happening right before your eyes. Well, then I invite you to offer this very simple call. Archangel Michael, help me. Archangel Michael, help me. Archangel Michael, help me. And again, the response is instantaneous. And I can relate one specific instance that happened not too long ago, and this actually happened to a friend of mine who was in a car as a passenger with two other friends. They were traveling in the winter, and they hit a patch of black ice, lost control of the car, careened off the road, and went off an embankment. Now, in the split second that this was happening, my dear friend had the presence of mind and the attunement to call to Archangel Michael and offer that very simple call, Archangel Michael, help me. And Archangel Michael did. Now, the three of them did not escape injury entirely, but they walked away, given the gravity of the situation, with what we would call very minor injuries that they would heal from. Because that vehicle ended up, as I said, they lost control. It careened off the road and it rolled down into an embankment. So you can just imagine what the outcome could have been without the intercession of Archangel Michael. So I'll read to you just a little bit more of a background of Archangel Michael. Okay? Saint Michael the Archangel in Hebrew literally means who is like the Lord. Archangel Michael is the captain of the Lord's hosts. Many of us know about him through the book of Genesis, where he and the armies of light cast the demons out of heaven. They cast out Satan and Lucifer and their minions, and they cast them into the world of form, our happy earth where we are now. He's the defender of the faith and the leader of the Lord's host in Armageddon. He defends us from physical and spiritual harm when we call his name. Whether affiliated with Judaism, Christianity, or Islam, you will find Michael mentioned in these religious traditions as the figure who is the great protector of God's people. Archangel Michael is the sponsor of law enforcement, military, and doctors. So I thought I would share that with you. And we could also talk a little bit about how to call Archangel Michael into our world with more specific prayers. So we've talked many times in our videos about the present state of the world and all the chaos and the danger and the things that we face on a daily basis, not only personally but globally. So I invite you, going back to those couple of quick prayers that I offered to you, to recite those as you are able and just to feel the presence of Archangel Michael in your world. And if you wanted to do something a little bit more specific, then you could be more creative with your calls. And it can change from day to day based on what your attunement is. So you might get up in the morning and you may do something like this. In the name of the Christ, I call thee, beloved Archangel Michael, and your hosts of light to enter the world of form. I invite you in this day to the plane of matter to overshadow me, my family members, our nation, and our planet against the infiltration, the corruption, and the sinister force of the fallen ones who wander the earth for the ruin of souls and instill darkness, harm, disease, sickness, and the engines of wars. Let them be bound in this moment, Archangel Michael, and be taken for their judgment as the will of God allows. Amen. Just another example on specificity. Let's see. I would like to share with you one other instance in my own personal world of how Archangel Michael has come to the aid of my family. And this is a situation where my call to him was, it was specific yet general, because I just had a sense that something unpleasant and dangerous was going to happen. And along those lines, folks, there are voices that we hear in our heads that are good voices. So I counsel you, when you hear them, don't ignore them, because they are harbingers of things that you should be on top of, and that you should invoke the warriors of light for their intercession. So this is an older story, but one that I return to frequently when I share my experience with Archangel Michael. We're a boating family, and one day, years ago, our family was out. I happened to be home, and I was going about the household in my, just doing the normal thing on a Saturday morning. And I was struck with this feeling that something was going to happen. I didn't know what it was, but I really felt that my family was in danger that particular day. So I stopped what I was doing, And I thought it was going to be some kind of danger on the water, you know, perhaps a storm or something having gone wrong where there was injury and there was harm to my family. But certainly I had this overarching feeling that they were at risk. So I remember clear as day stopping on this beautiful Saturday morning in my driveway and making calls for my family members and for our vessel and just sending Archangel Michael in for their total protection that day. Well, they came home and they were safe on the water. What had happened that day is that they were coming up the road, and I think I've shared with you I live in a rural environment, so I live on what we affectionately call a cow path, right? It's windy roads, twisty roads, they're narrow, there are no guardrails, okay? We live on a cow path. So I'd like you to envision my three family members. My husband is driving, my son and my daughter, who were young at the time, in the seat of a pickup truck, and they're towing the boat behind them. Now, it's a good sized boat, so you need to imagine that from the tip of the truck to the end of the boat, we're talking about 45 feet in length, okay? So they're coming up the road. They're like a 16th of a mile from the driveway. And a car is coming in the opposite direction. There's another vehicle parked on the side of the road, and there's no room for this. Again, this is a cow path. So the car coming, rather than moving over a little bit and yielding to this large moving body that is coming toward it, comes into the lane of my family because they had this car had to go around this parked car. So by the grace of God, this vehicle is now coming into the lane of my family, and my husband had to avoid an accident. Now, please envision again, we've got 45 feet of length, and on the one side there is no guardrail, there is an embankment, and the pavement stops, okay? By the grace of Almighty God and the intercession of Archangel Michael, as my husband moves over slightly to avoid this car and sees the potential to come off the road, they actually went off the pavement and into the dirt. He has the wherewithal to not stop the car, but to accelerate, creating the momentum for the truck and the trailer with the boat just to keep on moving. So think about that, my friends. With that momentum, what would have happened if he had stopped or gone off the road? That would have been the end. That would have been the certainly catastrophic illness, if not the end of my family. So there's not a day goes by that somewhere in the back of my mind I don't recall that memory and the gratitude that I have for Archangel Michael answering my call that day. So he's there, and he's there with his legions of light, and the warriors of God are just all too happy to serve us, to come to our aid, but we have to make the call. So keep that in mind today and practice. Archangel Michael, protect me. Archangel Michael, seal me. Archangel Michael, stand where I am. Welcome, Archangel Michael, into your world. Invoke his presence on your behalf, your family, the nation, the planet, and watch how good things happen and crisis is averted. Thanks again for tuning in today. Until we meet again, namaste.